Hi everybody, welcome back to Small Caliber Arms Review. I'm Richard, and today we're going to be taking a look at this. The AR-7, or this is the Henry U.S. Survival. It is based on the AR-7, I guess. Anyways, this is the civilian version, which is what the AR-7 was developed for from the AR-5. And this was designed by Eugene Stoner, the maker of the AR-15. And this is a survival rifle. It's an aircraft crew survival rifle. And in the buttstock here, you've got all the parts that you need to assemble the weapon. You've got the receiver itself. You've got a spot in here for 2 magazines, and they snap in there pretty tight. At least one of them does. And you've got the barrel in there. Now, this rifle actually floats. Not very well. It's not completely waterproof. It is water resistant, and it will float if it's sealed up, but water can still leak in there. To assemble this thing, all you got to do is take your receiver and slide it right in the little slot here on the front. Kind of push it in there all the way, and there's a little screw right in the bottom of the pistol grip part here. Just tighten that down. It takes quite a few turns to get it in there, but you don't need any tools to assemble this thing, that's for sure. Then all you got to do is put the barrel on it, and there's a little locating pin right in the front there that the barrel slides on, and you'll push up against the bolt a little bit. The spring kind of pushes it out some, and then tighten this nut down on there, and it takes a few turns for that too. Now it will store, the receiver will store in the buttstock with the magazine in it, and there's 2 spots in the buttstock for a magazine, so you can actually put 3 in there, although it only comes with 2. And then I've got 1 magazine in there already. These are only 8-round magazines, so that kind of bites. It'd be nice if it was a 10-rounder, but you got 2 of them. And like I said, this is an aircraft crew survival rifle. It is not meant for combat. It's in case the aircraft is down or whatever. They have some means of taking small game to survive on. And it's a semi-auto. It's got the little bolt right here on the side. You kind of pull that out and charge it up, and that handle will reciprocate. Even if it's in, it'll still move back and forth on there. Safety is right on the side here. It is a rim fire, so don't dry fire it if you don't have to. And the magazine release is kind of weird. It's right here in the trigger guard area. So you have to have your finger in there to eject the magazine, or you can use your thumb on the other side and push that in and pull that magazine out. All right, now that we got it assembled, let's go ahead and take it apart. It is a very lightweight gun. It weighs like 2.5 pounds, somewhere around there. It's pretty light. The receiver is going to be the heaviest part of it. It is an aluminum alloy receiver on there, and the barrel is kind of interesting because it is a steel sleeve in a plastic housing on the outside of it. It's a corrosion-resistant plastic housing. So you don't have to worry. You can get it scratched up and stuff, but you don't have to worry about the outside of the barrel rusting. You'll definitely want to keep the inside of it clean and oiled up, a light oil on it to keep it from rusting, especially if you do submerge it in the water. But you can see the actual sleeve right there is not very thick. The front sight on it is a high-vis plastic sight on it, adjustable for drift, and really this one you can drift adjust it pretty easy. You can actually push it with your fingers from side to side. So I mean you could easily offset it anyways. Let's take the receiver off there. Like I said, there's this little screw in the bottom here. All you do is back that out, and it takes quite a few turns to get it out of there, but it's really not that difficult. You definitely don't need any tools to take this thing apart, and cleaning the barrel is definitely a breeze when you can take it off like that and get full access to it. If you need to remove the bolt out of here to clean it, all you got to do is take your finger and push on the inside there a little bit, push back on the bolt just a little bit, grab your charging handle there and slide it right out of that hole. You got to get it lined up just in the right spot and pull it out, piece of cake. Then you can let your bolt come forward a little bit, pull it out, and there's a little plastic piece in there too you got to get out, which is kind of a pain because it wants to toggle around in there and get hung up on stuff. But it does have dual springs on it, so they recommend you firing only high velocity ammo in this thing. And this is your guide rods right there. It's going to slide in there just like that. Really simple bolt, not much to it at all. It's a hammer fired firearm. So your hammer's going to slide up, flip up there and hit your firing pin, which comes out right there. Easy to clean up the bolt. You can get right to the face of it there. There's your extractor right there. Your ejector is actually inside of there, and there's a little piece sticks up right in there. It's a little difficult to get to. You want to be sure you don't damage that when you slide your bolt back in there. And really, that's all you need to do to clean it out. You can get in there and clean anything out of there. I have not fired this gun yet. I did take it apart, clean it up a little bit, put a little bit of frog lube on it just to keep it nice and slick. There's one screw on the side here. If for some reason you need to get in there to all the workings, you may want to release the hammer. I would probably put something in there so you don't let the hammer slam forward. Let's go ahead and get it put back together. Your magazine is going to ride right underneath there, and make sure you put it in the right way. You want that little cutout on your follower, and that is plastic too. You want that to go upward, so we'll turn it upside down. Actually, want it to go down, but we're going to turn it upside down because we got to get that to clear the ejector in there. Push it in. You'll see your hole there for your charging handle, and you'll want to push that back and get it lined up with that little opening right there. Pop it back in, let it go. And everything is put back together. It's a piece of cake to take apart, to clean and everything. It's really easy to get in there, and it's really a pretty handy little rifle. Now, the cover on here on the buttstock, this is a massively wide buttstock, but for a reason, because everything stores inside there, and it's pretty well protected. You've got an angled piece here on the bottom of the buttstock, straight on the back there. You got these little serrations on there to remove the cover on it. It's a little tough to grip, and it just kind of pops on there. It's a little rubbery buttstock piece there, butt pad. And then you can see all your compartments in here, and everything is pretty self-explanatory. Your barrel goes in there. There's actually a little cutout for where the sight goes. So you'll put that in there. Put your magazines like that. The upper one there seems to fit in a little tighter. It kind of snaps into place here. It's kind of a pain to get out. The bottom one slides right out. And like I said, if you have an extra magazine, the third magazine, you could actually have it loaded, installed in the receiver, ready to go. Don't charge one up in there because there's nowhere to charge it, because there's no chamber there without the barrel on it. But you could actually hold 3 magazines in there, which would give you a total of 24 rounds. That slides right in there, and then your cover snaps back on the back. Take your hook part on the bottom and then snap it right over the top. One more thing I want to show you before I put this away. On the back of the receiver, your rear sight is a peep sight. And you've got this plate right here, this bar. It's got 2 holes in it. It's got a larger one and a smaller one. You can adjust your aperture by loosening this screw and flipping that around. It is adjustable for elevation. That hole underneath that screw there is slotted, so you can move it up or down if you need to adjust for your elevation. Windage, like I said, is on the front of the barrel. You're just going to drift it over side to side. And then slide it right back in there. Pop your cover back on it. It's good to go. It rattles a little bit. There's a little bit of movement in there, and I think most of that is this screw right in the front here that's moving back and forth. But easily fits in a backpack, and this was designed as an aircrew survival weapon. So it was designed to fit somewhere in the cockpit of a plane, not take up much room. It's really lightweight, so it doesn't affect the aircraft performance very much at all. It was made in 1959 by Eugene Stoner of Armalite, a division of Fairchild Aircraft, maker of my favorite flying gun, the A-10 Thunderbolt. The AR-7, or the Henry U.S. Survival, is still in production today, but over the years it's been made by a bunch of different companies. Armalite made it from 1959 to 1973. From Charter Arms made it from 1973 to 1990, Survival Arms from 1990 to 1997, and AR-7 Industries from 1998 to 2004, and then Henry has been making it ever since then. We'll go ahead and put it back together. Again, it's a piece of cake to assemble. All you got to do is just slide it right in there. It really only goes in one way, and if you push it all the way back in there, your bolt is going to line up easily. It's a little tricky to get in there, get your fingers in there, but there's plenty of room to do it. This gun has also been seen in a lot of movies, pretty famous movies too. James Bond movies, From Russia with Love, Goldfinger, Her Majesty's Secret Service, and it's been in some TV shows like Jag. It's been in a couple other ones. I think actually Get Smart a long time ago. But in those movies, it was kind of used as like a sniper's rifle. Someone's going to sneak this in a small compartment and then, you know, do their thing. It's been used in a few lower budget movies too. Picasso Trigger and Violent City with Charles Bronson. So some big name actors have used this gun in a few different movies. It's been used by the good guys against the bad guys. It's been used by the bad guys against the good guys. So it's really a neat gun, and like I said, it's been around since the 60s. It's still in production today, and it is a good choice for a backpacking rifle. If you're going somewhere in the wilderness and maybe you get stuck there or whatever, or you're going boating or something, it'd be an excellent gun to keep in a boat, you know, in case you have trouble out on the water or whatever, and you're going to be stranded for a little while. It's a good choice without having to carry a big full-size rifle, and they're really pretty inexpensive too. The MSRP is around a little over 300 bucks, somewhere around 311, somewhere in there. You can pick these up in the black model for about 250-ish. There are a couple camouflage models too that are going to run you a little bit more, but it's a pretty handy little rifle. It's kind of odd with that big buttstock on it, but really you get a pretty good sight picture with it. Even I've got the larger hole on the aperture there. And we're going to take this thing out on the range and take some 50-yard shots with it, because that's what they recommend you using it at. 50 yards is what they say its effective use is. But it's really a pretty simple rifle, that's for sure, and they're supposed to be highly reliable. And I think we'll get it on the range, give it a few shots, see how it does at 50 yards. All right, guys, we're out here on the range with the U.S. Survival from Henry. One thing I can tell you this survival rifle does not come with, and that's a heater. It's a little chilly out here. It's 32 degrees this morning. We're going to get it put together. I already got a magazine in there. It is already loaded up. There's no worry about accidental discharge before you put the barrel on it, and I don't have one chambered anyways. Now, one of the things you'll notice about this is with that massively wide buttstock, it does not fit in your traditional rest there. Really, it doesn't fit anyway in a traditional rest. So I think I'm just going to kind of prop it up here a little bit and take some shots at the 50-yard target down there. Now, it's not meant to be a precision rifle by any means. It is a survival rifle. It is just the basics, really. Get one charged up, pull that handle out a little bit, grab it, pull it back, and one's in there already. Take the safety off, and we'll take a shot at that 50-yard target there and see how it does. All right, took 5 shots at it. We'll put the safety on. We'll go down there and peek at that. It's tough to see a 50-yard target through that little peep sight there. There's no scope on it, although it does have the option to put a scope on it, and you can do that. The problem is you can't store the scope inside the buttstock there. Okay, there's my 50-yard shots there. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Of course, I was aiming for the center right there. And like I said, that front sight is easy to bump and get it off. And I did move it a little bit. I know that when I was messing around with it, checking it out and everything. So it looks to me like it needs to be adjusted over just a little bit, because it's off about, see, 1, 2, 3, probably about 3 inches to the left. So I can move that front sight over, and you can do it with your fingers too. And we'll try it again. And I got a little steel target down here, and I'll kind of take a couple shots at that. All right, looks like I got lucky on that first shot there. Again, to eject the magazine, you can push your trigger finger forward, pull the magazine right out of the bottom of it there. Now, like I said, it's not a long distance, long range precision rifle. It is a survival rifle. This is, you know, it's your last ditch effort to stay alive, and you need some food. A good source of protein right here if you can get you a little rabbit, or you could even take a deer with it in a survival situation. don't use it for hunting in states that it's not allowed to, but it functions. It does what it's supposed to do. I got another magazine here with 8 rounds in it. I already put it in there, and we're going to do 8 more shots with it real quick, and then there's really not much to show. It's not a high performance precision rifle. It is a survival weapon. Let's see, had a little malfunction there. It was a failure to eject. You know what, that round sounded kind of weak, so I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull the barrel off here real quick and check, make sure that didn't have a squib load there or something. And it is clear. So we'll put the barrel back on it. Just a little safety precaution there. If one sounds bad, you don't want to go ahead and pull the trigger again. That can really cause you a problem. And with this rifle having just the steel tube in there wrapped with ABS plastic, it could really cause some problems. It's not going to have near the strength that a full steel barrel would have, and even those can blow up on you. All right, we'll try it again. See what else we had here. Another failure to eject. And that was it. That was the 8 rounds. 2 empty magazines. It functions. That could have been a little issue with the ammo itself. I am using Remington Thunderbolts, which is a high velocity ammo, 1255 feet per second. And really shouldn't have been much problem with that. It's some really old ammo. In fact, it was $2.19 for a 50 round box I picked up a few years ago. I don't think age has anything to do with it, but just a little 50 round box of Thunderbolts. All right, the magazines are just a little stamped steel magazine. It does have a plastic follower in it. Now, your magazine is also your feed ramp in there. There's no feed ramp at the end of the barrel there. That saves on machining and stuff. Makes these simple and supposedly reliable. But the newer magazines have this little wire piece on here that goes all the way down the side there. That's kind of a guide for the round in there and keeps it from popping out easily, I guess. But they're only 8 round magazines, and like I said, you can pick up an extra one because you can actually store 3 of them in the gun, 1 in the receiver and 2 of them in the buttstock. Loading them up is the same as pretty much every other stick style magazine. I did notice though that the little feed lips at the top there kind of have some little sharp corners on them there, so you might want to watch that when you go to pop them in there. And then you'll want to make sure that they're all the way to the back when you load them up. And they do kind of double stack in the back there, slide side to side there, so they're more vertical than a curved magazine. I'll get this second magazine loaded up here, and I'm probably going to take a few more shots. There's not much to show with this gun. It's a survival rifle. That's all it is. But if you could, while I'm going to plink with this thing just a little bit more, hit this button up here to check out some of my other videos, and hit this button over here to subscribe if you haven't already. And thanks for watching Small Caliber Arms Review.